What's up, everybody? Welcome back. John Levesque here. Today, I am joined by my friend Artur Zielinski. How you doing, bro?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. I had the pleasure of meeting Artur earlier this year, actually, at one of the only talks that I got to give this year in Scotland. We went and had some dinner, and we had a great time. I made quite a fool of myself that evening. I got yelled at by people who lived above the restaurant. It was quite an adventure, wouldn't you say?
It was an epic night, yeah, definitely. And just before COVID as well, we just managed to sneak that one in.
Yeah. It felt good. I really miss those days, man. But enough about reminiscing. Artur is here because he has built a product, a CRM bot, and from what the limited amount of visibility I've had into it, I was super impressed. And then to find out that the whole tool was actually built on Power Automate, I was like, yo, you got to come on the show and you got to show people how this is made, that you can build your own product off the back of Power Automate is pretty cool.
Yep. Thank you, John. I really appreciate the opportunity. So yes, hi everybody. My name is Artur Zielinski, and we are one of the co-founders of CRM Bot. I'll show you very briefly some things about the solution. Then we can do a deep dive and have a look at what's possible behind the scenes using Power Automate. So without further ado, just 2-minute summary of what CRM Bot is. What does it do? So yes, as you said, it's a conversational AI or chatbot building tool that sits on top of Microsoft Dynamics or Power Platform, so essentially sitting on top of CDS and Power Automate. The idea really stemmed from, a few years back when we were looking at some of the chatbot building tools and wanting to have something really super quick and simple to do to be able to deliver quite cool results. So one of the key things what we're aiming for is interactivity and conversational aspects of it. And this is really where sort of the strength of the solution lies, in our opinion anyway. But so the concept really behind this is quite straightforward. Without leaving your CDS, without leaving your Power Automate, you're able to do these sort of customer journey experiences, working on Messenger, on audio, on all those sort of cool channels, not only web, not only Teams, but going, above and beyond that. But I don't really want to spend time, sort of talking about the product, talking about the technology. What I thought we'll do instead is just have a quick look into what the solution looks like from the front end perspective.
Awesome.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open my mobile phone. I hope you guys can see it, and I hope I'm not going to get any weird messages for the next half an hour. But I'm just going to start famous last words, right? So this is my Messenger screen, and I'm not faking it. This is my actual phone. So I'm just going to say hi, and really, that's really what you need to be coding for is, people say hi, hello, what's up, whatever. And then what I really hate in chatbots is when they say, what can I do for you? Because I have absolutely no idea what can you do. I mean, this is an example of a bot that is it was built for actually a showcase for one of the organizations we were talking to at the time. And it was about a housing, sort of student housing situation where they can go around the housing and report, bins, graffiti, whatever. So the idea is that you can just walk around either the hall or the student sort of campus and then just take pictures. So I'm not going to take pictures, but I'm just going to basically look at some of the pictures in my history, and I'm just going to pass one in. Oh, yeah, as I said. Right. So it's going to do this, and it's going to say, thank you for reporting graffiti. And then it's going to say, obviously we know this is graffiti, but we now need to know where you are. So I'm just going to share my location. I'm going to just move it somewhere. So the cool thing with Messenger is you can really pinpoint where stuff is. So I'm just going to say it's down here. And then my chatbot is going to reply and say, this is the address. Thank you so much for reporting it. And this is it. So it's, it's not rocket science, but it is really simple to use. Like it's in 20 seconds or 15 seconds, I've actually reported a proper case, and I've shared my address. So now people can actually go in and, somebody can go in and clean that up. And it didn't take a lot of effort. So from my side, as a user, I'm pretty pleased that I didn't actually need to log in anywhere or do anything with it.
Yeah.
So that is it. From a front-end perspective, it's really three things: hi, which is welcome, then get image, and then get location. So this is it from the front end. So what I would like to do now, unless John, you have any questions.
No, I just want, man, that giving it a pin and it understanding the pin, like that was pretty sweet, dude. Like that was like, it felt natural how I would send my friend a pin of my location, right? It's not an anti-pattern. It's something I'm very used to. So that I'm pretty stoked on that, right?
And
away.
that is cool. That is so important that you mentioned that. So the whole idea behind chatbots and virtual agents is that you're trying to go and do something that feels natural to your customers. Yep. So, you know, everybody's on Messenger and everybody knows share location and take a picture, take an image. It's so much more natural than going to a form. And, you know, I hate seeing those websites when you've got the map control and you have to sort of, because you're on your laptop, or it's not natural. This is natural. And also taking advantage of the channel that you're using. So in this case, we're using Messenger, which got share location. If we were wanting to build this on a website, then we would have to build our own control for this. Yeah. But with Messenger, you've got this, you know, you've got this added benefit. So you're leading me directly into what I want to talk about next, which is the authentication. So another great reason to not try to spend too much time talking about web as a channel. I don't hate web chatbots, but I think they're losing the main advantage of chatbots, which is, to me, being where your customers are. So on Messenger, because somebody is on Messenger, I know exactly who they are as soon as they start talking to me. If they're on a website and they start talking to me, I have to go through this process of actually figuring out who they are. Yeah. And this is really such a core advantage of using channels, is that your user adoption goes up and your necessity to authenticate is diminished. Because unless you're talking about your medical records or you're taking a payment or, you know, it's a bank, it's really unlikely, if somebody's reporting a case, that somebody's going to go through the trouble of trying to spoof somebody's Facebook account to report a graffiti, you know? Yeah, so, totally. and you know, and when you talk to somebody on Messenger, you know, you don't second guess who it is behind the screen. You just assume it's the person you're talking to. Yep. So why would chatbot be any different? So that's one of the core ideas behind CRM Bot, is because what we do is we try to essentially streamline the authentication. So we're now actually going to have a look behind the scenes to see how this all hangs together. So you can see my CDS environment, and this is sort of one of our demo environments. And I've got a contact record, and this is a standard CRM contact. And I've just extended it to one field called Messenger ID. Okay. And in that Messenger ID, I basically hold the Messenger ID, which is uniquely generated by Facebook. It cannot be spoofed. And I'm sure there are some technical people who are like, oh, that's not really secure. And I'll let me tell you, it is, because there is no way you can actually get that. Essentially, when it gets passed over from Facebook to Microsoft, to Bot Framework, it's sort of hidden behind this sort of token, which got 64 bytes. And it's just, I'm not a technical person, but, I've got some clever technical dudes working with me, and they assure me it's as secure as, anything else. Yeah. So as soon as we know that ID, you will see our first flow. So I mean, I'm jumping around a little bit, but the whole idea behind CRM Bot is, instead of having, a fancy interface, you're literally just building a couple of flows. So you've got this front end where you design your bot, and I'm not going to spend any time on that because that's really not the subject of this. But the concept is that the whole intelligence behind it happens in Power Automate. So this is our first flow. So this is where somebody says this hi, then a response. So we've got our first control, which is our sort of CRM Bot control, which essentially where you define essentially which intent should trigger that. So this is our welcome intent, and we can actually design for which platform. So we can have flows that are specific to a platform, which is sometimes quite cool when you want to do a totally different experience for audio or for Messenger. And then what I'm doing is, and correct me if I'm not doing, because I'm not a Power Automate MVP, but I do what I can. So I'm literally just listing contacts, finding a contact with a user ID. And this is that bot messenger ID. Remember that field in a contact. So the user ID is a parameter that CRM Bot passes me, but you can easily extract it from any, if you build this using, Bot Framework, you could easily extract this from the payload that Messenger sends you. So Messenger will tell you as an application, they will tell you that there is a user, this is the user ID. So as long as you find that guy, and then I'm just doing a count to make sure that this guy exists. So there is at least one record. And if it's a positive path. So I found a contact. I basically say hi there. If I didn't find a contact, I need to pass the body, and this is just to get the full name, because I don't have a contact in CRM, but I still want to greet him. It's only polite. And I can do it because Facebook actually, again, tells you who is the person you're talking to. So that's another great advantage of using channels, is because they tell you stuff like full name. I mean, if you ask for permissions, they will even tell you the age. If you can justify to Facebook why you need it. I don't need it, but if this was like 18 only sort of application, which I'm not going to go into because I know it's early for you, it's only 8 a.m., but you could actually do this, age consent kind of thing, but it really doesn't need that. But then I'm basically saying, apologies, sorry, I've not got you, please get in touch with us so we can set you up. But you see, before we go any further, this is where you could easily extend this and say at this stage, hey, what's your email and what's your mobile number? And let's get you registered. And handle registration naturally. If I can't find who you are, let me register you. But if I know who you are, that's it. There isn't a need for you to build a totally different, complex, like a journey for this particular subject. So I'll just demonstrate this very briefly. What I mean, or what I just done. So what I'll do is I'll basically, let me just actually do one thing. I'm just going to delete that messenger ID from my CRM. And then I'm going to show you my screen again. And I'm just going to say hi. And you see, that's basically what's happened now, is because I've deleted that messenger ID, now the chatbot doesn't know who I am. But if I add that messenger ID again and save, I'm suddenly recognized again. So that's really it. So this is as simple as authentication protocol as you'll ever find, but it's all you need for all those basic applications. So this is really not, I hope that made sense. And that's really, one of the core principles I want to get across to people. Don't authenticate unless you have to use the channel for it. So the second thing you've seen, which the next thing was that you take an image and we pass the image. So for this, I'm just basically using this thing called Custom Vision, which is a fantastic product by Microsoft. If only I could get to that. I love Custom Vision.
I've done a few videos with Custom Vision. It's a powerful tool.
It is. I really like the UI, and I like how easy it is for you to add images and tag them. But all you have to do is sign up. It's pretty much, well, it's free essentially. It's certainly been free to me. I think it gets expensive when you are over 2 million transactions, but whatever, I mean, I'm just doing a demo. But it is absolutely enterprise level tool. It's got Azure behind it, so you can scale it. It's absolutely serious. It's not one of those jokey little tools. This is serious stuff. But the bottom line is you upload some images, you tag them, and then you can train the model to recognize things. So all I'm doing here is in my flow. Again, I've got a flow that starts with get image.
Real quick, sure. It looks like you have a connector here in Power Automate. I see a preview tag on there.
That's right. Yes.
Nice. So yes. For those of you at home watching, if you want to play along, you can actually go and use this connector. You might have to do a bit of sign up and get things figured out on that side, but the connector is there. You don't even have to import anything. It's just actually an official certified preview connector ready for you to use. So cool. I just wanted to make note of that.
No, thank you, John. And I'll leave you at the end of the video. I'll give you all the instructions. If you want to sign up and you want to build something like that or something even cooler, you're more than welcome to. It's all live. It's all there. Yeah, cool. We're working on getting that preview stuff out because it's fully production ready now. Anyway, so the cool thing is that with our sort of product, when you can define a type of an intent as image, and when you do that, we actually give you the image parameter. So think of CRM Bot as a basically time-saving tool. You can do exactly the same thing using just a bot framework, or, whatever. It's just going to take you a little bit longer because you're going to have to now pass the response from Facebook. But all I need to do here is I'm just passing that body to get some parameters. Never mind. And I'm initializing a variable, and then I'm basically putting that, if I can't find anything, then and this is my safety first message. Okay. But then for each, you see this is essentially an attribute, that parameter that you get with our connector, that for every attachment that somebody sent you, and I'm using HTTP post. And again, this is not the nicest experience because custom vision actually has its own connector, but I actually found some bugs with it. So you can use it when you want to grab like predictions for specific iteration, but I found issues with actually using the custom vision for my purposes. So I'm literally just done an HTTP post, and I'm literally connecting I'm passing a prediction key, which I'll change after this video, so nobody can use it, but whatever, I mean, it's all free stuff anyway. And then I'm basically saying for every attachment, send it there. And when I get this back, I get this sort of body response. And again, in here, all I get is the predictions, which is an array, which is again frustrating because to me, prediction is singular, but I mean, custom vision caters for you to have multiple predictions, but I just want the one, which is why I'm going through this very ugly looking loop when I'm looping through each prediction. And if it's equal to 1, if it's 100%, I'm setting that tag name to be the variable.
I could help you with this one.
I'm sure we could make it quicker. I'm sure you could filter this straight away, and I'm sure we can. But as I say, for this model, when I've only got 3 separate models, and this doesn't need to be that quick. Yep. It's, to be honest, there is no loop. It's usually one prediction. It's just I'm basically handling this array because it is an array when it comes in. But yeah, I appreciate this can be done nicer on Power Automate. But select. The idea is
the action's called select. Yep. For those
there you go. Yep, there you go. So we're basically just saying, thank you for reporting, remember that graffiti. But then what we're doing, what is super cool, is we're again finding that contact based on user ID because that guy is authenticated. And we're actually creating a new case in CRM.
Nice.
So that case that we've just reported is actually a graffiti case. And you see that actually that graffiti case has an image which we've just sent.
Ooh, so okay, that was nice. That was nice.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So this is basically this bit here that for each attachment, I'm now getting it because I've got the content URL, but I need to actually get the physical file. And then I'm composing the content of this file. And again, this is straightforward body content. There is no, how do you call it? I always forget, transformation. You don't need to transform it because it's nicely packaged for you. So all you have to do is create a new node and stick it as the essentially output, which is the content. So no parse, no getting it to bytes from 64s, nothing like that. So it's literally works straight away. So it's so straightforward. You would think this is massive. If somebody's shown you this, I'm parsing images from Messenger and saving them in CDS, you would think it's a lot. It's literally those 3 actions. That's it. Then no code whatsoever. I love Power Automate, man. It's such a great tool. So this is what we're doing. And then lastly, so I appreciate, I don't want to spend too much time on this. So this is really, so we got the image, and remember the next question we've asked was, give me your location. So the location, again, it's a specific, in CRM Bot, it's a special type of intent where we ask you for location. And when you ask for location, you get 2 attributes, longitude and latitude, which are the points, the pin that you've actually selected yourself. Yep. I'm then using Bing to get that location by point, and I'm just building a response which got the address. So again, nothing fancy, all this functionality sounds like, a lot of hassle. It's really not. That is it. We're then sending that response. And then again, we're finding the case. Now, the issue is that I could have passed somehow the GUID of the case, but it's pointless because if you think about it, you're asking somebody to submit a case, and then you're asking them for location. They're not going to submit another case. They're just going to get the location for that case. So you can just do a fetch that is sorted on, created on with the descending. So it's the latest case for that guy. And you can only just need a top one. Nice. It's always going to be that one, So before you start passing variables and worry about GUIDs, think about the user experience and think about what makes sense and save yourself the hassle. So then all we're doing is we're updating that case with the location address, and you can see that I've got this address that this guy sent me here, and so this is really how it works behind the scenes. And, all I really try to convey here is that you see those complicated virtual agents or the chatbots, and you think, oh my God, this must have been like a skill bot framework. You need to do some functions. You don't. You could just use Power Automate to build this functionally. And I'm not a developer. I never written a single line of code. And this is pretty, in my opinion, pretty advanced stuff that you can do just pointing and clicking.
And so now like if I sign up and I start using the service, I want to build skills. It's this same experience, right? What you're doing here, this is how I would also build out my bot's abilities.
Yes. I mean, the thing is that I just before we go there, I just want to show you one last thing, which is something that is pretty cool, in my opinion anyway, is this. So I've shown you get image, I've shown you get location. So there are two more flows that I want to now demonstrate. So first is update student if ETA is provided. And if you look at that flow and you'll notice what it does, you'll notice that the trigger actually isn't my bot, isn't CRM bot. The trigger is CDS. So this is essentially proactive messaging. So whenever somebody updates a case and updates a description field, I will actually, so say we'll, get this done straight away. So if I now go into my, it does take a few seconds. I mean, it's not as instant as the other conversations you see.
Yeah, no problem.
But it should appear here in a sec. Just see. Yeah, there it is. So you see, so basically you're proactively letting them know that it will be dealt with straight away. And then, if I go and deactivate this case, so basically, I could build a proper status saying completed, but to be honest, I couldn't be bothered. Again, this will be told that many thanks for reporting it, case is now resolved. So how you handle letting people know, instead of trying to build something super complex, you could just use, again, Power Automate to basically, a trigger can be anything, and then you're basically building that message, and it's a slightly different action that we provide called proactive message, where the only thing you need is the user ID of a person, but remember you have it because you have the student. So all we're doing here, whenever somebody updates this field, we're getting the reported by, and by getting that contact, we know what his messenger ID is, and we're building that, crafting that response and sending it out. So this is pretty much it in terms of this very quick sort of demonstration of the capabilities. One last thing I'll just say before I'll talk about how to get started is I'll just talk very briefly about the different types of things you can do. And again, this is, so I've shown you really here pretty much text responses, but there's so much more you can do. You adaptive cards, which I'm sure, I know that you love adaptive cards. I think they're absolutely amazing. They only work on Teams and web, but they are mind-blowing. Some of those adaptive cards you'll see on our website, they're just amazing. But they're here, all you need to do if you want to build an adaptive card, you go to Adaptive Cards Designer, you build your card, do whatever you want, and then you pass it. Sorry, where was I here? You just pass the payload, So again, it's as simple as just passing the payload. And then there are some more types of messages, and some of them are more useful than others on certain channels. So for example, card response is pointless if you're talking about audio channel, or media response for that matter. But for web, media response gives you that video sort of embedding. So there are just different things you can do in terms of your responses.
Nice.
So this is really the Power Automate side of things. But as I said, and this is really frustrating, that banner at the top. Let me just do this.
We don't see it, by the way. The banner isn't.
I know, yeah, I see it, yeah. So you've mentioned, how quickly or how easily you could build this stuff yourself. So I'll just show you this student bot. So the front end side, again, we've not focused on building a massively, pretty user interface for it. The idea is that you define your intents, you've got some entities, you've got some parameters, and you set the front end side. So for example, welcome intent is here. And that welcome intent's got some options. We've got the docs explaining all of it and videos on our website as well. So, but bottom line is that you can very quickly build your training phrases and your parameters and your default responses. And as quickly as possible, you get into Power Automate to build that cool functionality. So you don't spend too much time on the front end and hooking different things together and spending a lot of time on your conversational tree. Because guess what? Nobody will follow that tree. That's my issue with a lot of bots that start sort of trying to predict too much. The idea is that you give people the functionality and you allow people to jump in between, and then you have a lot more natural user experience. And if you keep it punchy and keep it short and sweet, people won't go into different ideas. But if you start with what can I do for you, you're immediately on a bad foot, And the example is our sort of sales bot that we've got on our website, tells you straight away what to do and what do I want to do next. Of course, you can ask questions, but the idea is that ideally you follow one of those things. And this brings me nicely to the last piece, which is how do you get into this? So all you need to do is you need to say, I'm interested in testing CRM Bot. We will then get this nice adaptive card, as you can see. So this is a proper adaptive card coming on the web where you just put some details in here. And after you do that, you will be taken to our Calendly page where you just arrange a short session with me or one of my colleagues where we go through the scenarios you had in mind and set up, and you get given access to the instance and you can crack on. So everything is now streamlined to be extremely quick deployment. You basically get this sort of solution that looks like this with an example agent, with all the training and all the support from us that you need. We also running this free POC sort of thing where we will actually spend a week with you to build something really, really cool together, to show you the capability, to see if you can actually go and apply it, in your organization or with your client. So don't feel like you have to actually learn from scratch. We will spend a week for free with no obligation, no commitment needed, to make sure that you've got a super, super cool use case to show your boss, and then we can move it forward together.
Wow, that's very generous, man.
What we want to do is make sure that people build fantastic chatbots. What I don't want to see is, sorry, pardon my French, crap chatbots, which are just basically reducing the impact of this technology, because this technology is gonna change lives in the next 5 years. But we need to make sure collectively that we use it for good and we do good things with it. So that's the idea behind it.
Very cool. All right. Well, hey, if you want to get some more information, if you want to check out the CRM bot, there's some links in the description on how you can get connected with Artur, how you can find more about the CRM bot. And man, thank you for that. I love seeing a product powered fully by flows. Like that is super awesome. It makes my soul happy to see.
Man, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the opportunity. And yeah, for everybody who enjoyed this and wants to find out more, please go to our website and sign up and get in touch. We're here, we're open, and really, really excited to see what's next.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining. Thank you guys at home for coming and hanging out. You know what to do. Go ahead and click like, get subscribed so that you don't miss another video. Connect with us on social, and I'll see you in the next one.
See ya.